going to take a look at Somebody to Love. Now, this is on a couple of hands a really simple song. On a couple of other hands, there are some really unusual things in it and some really tricky things. Now, this was, of course, a huge hit for the Jefferson Airplane on a Surrealistic Pillow. And a funny little side story about this is one of my students was here the other day and said, hey, I want to work on some old Jefferson Airplane songs. And I says, oh, I've got a few of them at TG. I know I have at least two. And when I started thinking, I know I have at least two, I'm thinking they got to be like White Rabbit and Somebody to Love. And I look it up, and it's not. It was Coming Back to Me and White Rabbit. And so I thought, oh, man, how did I ignore Somebody to Love for so long? Anyhow. So we're going to take a look at this, but I have, there's some interesting sidelines to it. One is, now this was written by Darby Slick, who was, of course, Grace Slick's brother-in-law at the time of their first band, or their first band that made a record called The Great Society, who was one of the early San Francisco bands that were, making the rounds, especially of the Matrix, Marty Ballin's place in the early days in San Francisco. And that's where the Jefferson Airplane took off too, with of course a different singer on their first album. And Grace kind of got recruited to replace her and that sort of spelled the end of the Great Society. But she brought two big songs with her. One was Darby's tune, Somebody to Love, and of course her own song, White Rabbit. So both of which had been recorded by the Great Society. But they turned out to really put Jefferson Airplane on the map, more than their first album had. Now, the song is really interesting from like I mentioned, from a few different points of view. One is it only uses four chords. Four chords. The key signature is the key of E, four sharps. Now, the three major chords in the key of E would be E, A, and B, chord 5. It uses those, E, A, and B. And it also uses chord 2, which in the key of E would be F sharp minor. Now, the thing that it does that is unusual is that it revolves around F sharp minor, meaning F sharp minor is home, meaning it's not, we wouldn't say this is in the key of E major. We'd say this is in the key of F sharp Dorian. When a song revolves around chord 2 in a key, the minor chord that falls on step 2, it's using the Dorian mode. That really just means it's using all the same notes as the key of E major, four sharps, but everything revolves around note 2. That's the definition of the Dorian mode. But another really interesting thing about this is there are all kinds of different transitions from one verse into the next, or from one chorus into the next, really. And most people, when they play this, would do them all the same. Well, we're not going to. We're going to break this down into how they actually did this back 175 years ago. But we're also going to talk about a really easy way to play it, because if you say, I don't like playing in the key of E, it's got too many bar chords. A B chord, nobody likes B chord. Well, a lot of people don't like B chords. They're tough. Or don't like bar chords in general. So, we can play this by putting a capo at the 2nd fret, and that's what we'll talk about at the end of this. And we now have 4 easy chords, because we start thinking in the key of D, which means we're going to have D, G, and A as our 3 major chords, and E minor as chord 2. So, I'm going to first give you the hard way to play this, and then we'll take a look at how, if you just want to strum along with them, we'll be putting a capo on and playing it in the key of E Dorian. But for now, F sharp Dorian.